Welcome to Grip Grind Glory, where grapplers train with purpose and grow through the grind. And now, your host, thought-provoker, and fellow grinder, Anna Janovics.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Grip Grind Glory, the podcast. This is episode 26, and today I'm going to give you a brief recap of the first two events we've run at the end of January and at the end of February 2026. First was the grip, second was the grind, obviously, and I'm going to give you a brief overview of what happened, what didn't happen, and what's never going to possibly happen. So what we learned from the first two events and what we would like to change, what we will keep. And I'm also going to interview Balázs, our head coach, who ran the first two events and will keep doing so in the future. So yeah, let's begin. So first of all, why, for those who have not heard this before, I'm just going to repeat why we built the experience in the first place. And the reason for it was that we found that in adult training there is no necessarily an arc, a rhythm, unless you're taking the syllabus, you're going through the grading, but that ends at some point as well. And if you're not competing, then there is a huge gap between just training and competing. And most adults in judo fall into the gap between those two ends of the scale. And we wanted to create something, a middle path, which judo currently doesn't offer, which you can't find on the judo market rather. So the experience was our answer to this problem. That was our solution. And I'm now going to expand on whether we delivered or not. Because I certainly think that that the events, grip and the grind were very different to your usual session. In the first one, obviously, we learned a lot about very basic moves, how you move on the mat, steps, entries, grips, which you don't necessarily have time to break down in a normal session. It was different in terms of, the whole structure of the session was very different as well. The second one, grind, was even more different. It was about, the grind behind judo, technically, what you do when you want to improve your judo, but you don't necessarily do judo. So it's obviously strength and conditioning, cardio, a lot of those things. And so these elements, these different elements, loads of elements, combined in one session, it was very intense. Especially in grind, which was that was the whole aim, that it is intense and you are put under pressure, and how you handle that pressure I didn't handle well, needless to say, but also that you actually come to realize how much more you could do to improve your judo. And so it was very eye-opening. It was extremely challenging, but it was a lot of fun. I can tell you that, guys. So the first event was grip, where we learned loads of things. It was interestingly, it was a fairly quiet event. Everyone was focused and concentrating on the different moves, and these were stuff which we rarely do. I mean, I don't remember the last time I did it. I'm not even sure I ever did these, steps and moving on the mat. It was really funny, balancing exercises and loads of those, which, made some of us realize that our balance is really out of the scale. But mine is okay. But these things wouldn't necessarily, come to surface in a normal session. So that was the first event, and the second one was about putting us to the test technically, and we started with games, which always, we always broke out in laughter because it's just so much fun. But in a normal 1 hour or even 90-minute session, you don't necessarily play games for 20, 30 minutes. First of all, they're really good for cardio, but they're just a different approach to the same thing, I think. So it was a lot of fun. But then we moved on to the drills, which we normally would do in a session as well. We just drilled it over and over again. So it became extremely intense. And it made me realize that, as I get more and more tired, my throws, even the way I moved, I could feel it became so sloppy. Everything I did on the mat was just clumsy as hell. So, which is, obviously, everyone knows this, but I came to realize my cardio, my conditioning is really good. I go to the gym a lot, but it's still not there. And it's sad as well. I'm not going to lie. But, these things I think I'm not exposed to this kind of training in my normal judo sessions. So I didn't know. I didn't realize. I thought, I'm strong. I do really well in a 1 hour session, but not in a 2 hour event like the grind was. And we also did, which was quite challenging, exhausting rather, strength training at the end. And that was super intense. I mean, it's not that it was super intense. It was more like we were so tired by the end that we still did it, but it was like, just let's get it over with now. Because it was very quiet, everyone was silent, and we just drilled it all. So the technical bits are really just judo, so nothing groundbreaking there. But the way the sessions are structured is very different and very unique, and I think they worked extremely well for us. So it was a lot of fun. After grind, I could hardly walk home, but that's the feeling you'd be looking for. We had a lot of fun. We just smiled through the whole thing. So I think community-wise, it was a really, really nice experience. We all knew each other one way or another, but we never trained together, I don't think, before. So these two events, and then the third is coming up now in March, has just brought us together, and it's a really nice. It was a really nice experience, if I'm honest. We learned a lot, obviously, as organizers and designers of these events. I had, obviously, my messaging still needs fine-tuning. It's I just overthink things, okay? It's overly complicated. It becomes obscure at points, and it doesn't help. But with the experience we've gained from these first two events, I feel like, obviously, as I always do, my fear of what if nobody cares is gone technically. Everybody cares and they want to be there. We had a lot of interest. Probably the time wasn't right. It's Sunday evenings, 5 to 7. It's in Leeds, UK. So the place was right, obviously, for most people, as I advertised only in a certain catchment area of our club, of Hajime Judo Club rather. So the interest was very high, but people gave us feedback that the timing just won't work for them. So if they come from a little bit further away, they wouldn't get back for bedtime, and then next morning they start work after a long weekend, blah, blah, blah. So it's just not, we will need to change the time, I think. And also, we wanted to focus on a core theme, and whilst we did do those themes across the sessions, and we will do in the third one as well, it's not being emphasized enough, I feel. So, but Balázs will be able to, reflect on that a little bit more. And what I thought would work really well from the community building side of things, and this was the whole purpose of it, is that we would be in touch with people, we would provide in-between support between the events, online, and the home workouts and everything else. And I feel like people don't want that. People don't need it, technically. They're just lazy to do it, which is all right. We all have our lives, so it's absolutely fine, and we go to judo anyway, people think. But most people's and I'm saying it confidently from what I've seen, most people's cardio and stamina is nowhere where it should be. So we'll need to find another way, I suppose. I don't know how, I don't know what way, I don't know just yet. But I think that's going to be the answer to that. And also, obviously, I'm quite into, self-development and reflecting on stuff and just thinking through things in judo as well. And there are a couple of reflection prompts rather, at the end of the home workout. And people were like, what the heck? And I'm like, it helps me to understand what I do and how I do things. So it's certainly, for me, reflecting on how poorly I did when I was getting tired. It helps me understand what kind of work I need to do in the gym a little bit more, probably. And I believe it's, it would help others as well. But all these things are good ideas, but the way we were trying to deliver them didn't necessarily work well. It didn't get through to people, I don't think. But the vibe was there. People were very engaged. People appreciated everything they were thought. So I think we're getting there. So for the next cycle, starting in April, we're going to change the time. That should bring in more people. Or we're also going to open up the last events, the competition bit. It's going to be a friendly competition. It's nothing huge, but we will have to open it up so it makes a little bit more sense, because we use our own rule set. We will need to be careful that people are fully aware of what is okay and what is not allowed. But overall, it was a very good start. We're looking forward to the last one, and then for the next cycle, actually, which will be, I think, what Balázs has said, that we're going to do combinations, and that's going to be the main focus of those 3 events. But we'll have to hear about that from him in a minute. So yeah, that's it, guys, from me. I'm going to hand the mic over to Balázs, and we'll just have a conversation about his experiences and his learnings and all the rest of it. Hi Balázs, and thanks for being in the studio with us today. We're going to talk about the first 2 Grip Grind Glory events, Grip and Grind. Can you tell us a little bit about what you tried to create at the outset of the events, and whether you feel like you delivered?
So we tried to create an event series that shows how the judo journey works. So for somebody who didn't start as a kid, it's a little bit harder because during a normal session, we don't go through the basics, we don't play the games, we don't practice all of the fundamentals what you need to be successful in judo, to do the techniques on the right way, to do the break force, to make sure everybody is safe. So we try to make each event, each session, so they include all of the elements that you need for a high-level judo session. For example, a good warm-up when you practice all the break force, how to move on the mat, make sure your body is ready for the impact of the techniques. Then the technical part, where you go through the from the first step, how to grab, how to pull, how to step. Each technique has a different approach, so we practice those. Then how to improve the speed, how to improve the technique, how to finish it. We brought back the old school judo techniques as well, when we were allowed to grab the legs. So all of the players could practice, could see what it was like a long time ago, when we had to be ready for any kind of attack during the competitions. Then we did a lot of throws, uchikomis, and the exercises at the end. Just make sure everybody got tired.
And would you say that there was anything that caught you by surprise?
Well, everybody tried their best. They understood what was the main goal of these events, using their best knowledge, using the techniques under pressure, because that's the key, being able to focus under pressure when we do the competition, for example, or just the randori. When you feel tired, but obviously you don't want to get thrown, so you need to try focus until the last second.
Was there anything that you think wasn't working the way you thought it would?
Well, during the sessions, everything was okay. I think we could improve the communication, the support between the sessions. If I didn't encourage the players to do the extra work. I didn't really monitor what they did, if they did their homework, because with the homework, I know everybody could improve themselves technically, physically, mentally. I don't know, didn't have time, or let's say that I didn't have time.
Is it something that you'd be looking to improve for the next cycle, or what else would you improve for the next cycle?
Yeah, definitely. I will support. I want to support everybody much more between the sessions, or during the normal session when they come to us, if they have any question, or just. So definitely I will check them much often.
What are your plans for the next cycle? Starting in April.
It will be similar. We will go deeper into the techniques. We will start working on combinations, working on sacrifice throws, and definitely we'll work on more the transition from standing to ground, because that's a huge part of judo as well, the groundwork. So we are going to work on those techniques too.
What would you say to listeners who are still unsure whether this is for them, whether they want to join?
Definitely all adults need this kind of experience. They can see how it works, and to be honest, there is nothing to lose, so just come down and try. It's easy.
Okay, well, thank you for your very insightful comments. We'll see you later, I'm sure. There will be other opportunities for interviews. Thanks for coming to the studio today, and thank you for the amazing sessions and for the amazing work you do in the judo community, Balázs.
Thank you. I try my best.
See you later.
See you later.
All right, guys, thanks for listening today. This is us for episode 26. I will be back in March, probably after the last event of the experience. Be good, do a lot of judo, and let's grip, grind, and glory. Bye.